Goldman here, and we are in podcast number 2, again, for Vern Entertainment. Again, this podcast, pretty open-flowing podcast. We like to get people on the show here, talk about what they want to talk about. We keep it open, we keep it flowing. Sports, motivational, business. I mean, it's a podcast for the community, by the community, and we just like to have fun, keep it open-flowing. And tonight we got a special podcast. We are joined with Sports Enthusiast Calvin Baty. Calvin and I, we've known each other for a long time. But Calvin, how are you doing tonight?
Very long time. I'm great. I'm glad you called me up. Thought of this idea to do a podcast, and Curran, let's get started.
All right. Well, Calvin,
let's get the pot boiling, my man.
Yeah. Well, we are rolling. But Calvin, why don't you introduce yourself? You know, kind of tell us what you've got going on right now.
If I'm being completely honest, man, I'm just watching the Vikings game. You know, Sunday Night Football. But no, man, right now, I mean, I'm just going to school. I'm about to finish school and start, you know, the old career thing you do when you're mid-20s, and then you know, hopefully make more than about $30,000 a year, or you know, 20 G's a year. That's, you know, what every young man aspires to do in their, you know, mid-20s.
Well, Calvin, as long as I've known you, you've been kind of the golf master.
Yes, that is actually what I'm, you know, tied in with school as well, is, you know, golf stuff, and so but yes, I am the you know, golf enthusiast as well as sports.
Now, talking about being involved with golf there during school, kind of tell us what you've got going on in that field.
With school now or previously, or because you know, I mean, I'm no, like, you know, pedophile. I don't like hanging around schools anymore. I mean, that's just like, I'd probably get some questions and phone calls from authorities, like, you know, you're.
Well, I know,
you know,
I mean,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was to just chill around high school by myself and, you know, staring at people, you know, going to and from places. I'm sure that's frowned upon in many high schools, you know. I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, that's a way to open up a podcast. I will tell you that much.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You know, you talking about golf. You were able to go post high school, play collegiate golf. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Yeah. I mean, I can honestly say that probably wasn't the most sober time of, you know, my life, but I mean, it's good fun. Like, gosh, I don't remember ever, like, sleeping good night's sleep during that summer. Those summers were rough, man. Yeah, dude. I've swung some golf clubs in college. It was really fun. But yeah.
Well, now talking about golf, and as we were talking about this kind of beforehand, Tiger Woods coming back, and he's had a strong 2019.
Dude, Tiger Hood, bro.
Tiger Hood.
Hood.
Well, I mean, talking about Tiger, what have you seen from this comeback, especially winning that tournament just at the end of October?
The 2019 Masters champion, bro. I mean, he is as good as he's ever been. It's scary to a point. I don't know.
Well, now
I'll say this: he is, like, I would say, still in the conversation of winning majors all the time.
Now,
he's not like you guys are smoking crack, because Vegas odds are always on all over Tiger. He's always going to be a, you know, favorite at Vegas. Like, you can't tell me people in Vegas are smoking crack. I mean, I don't know. But that's just my opinion. That could be a bit much, but I mean.
Well, talking about Tiger Woods, and one thing that always pops up when you talk about Woods is Nicklaus's record, especially with the resurgence of how Woods has been playing. Do you think he's back on path to go for that?
Well, you know, there's Jack Nicklaus, and then there's Tiger Woods. There's Jack Nicklaus, and then there's Tiger Woods. I mean, it's like Wesley Snipes, and then there's Steve McQueen. I mean, hard to compare the two. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's just a different breed of dogs. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I don't know how else to put it, really.
Well, I'm talking about the whenever Tiger Woods' name comes back, especially with him winning tournaments, it's Nicklaus's record, and could he be back on path to go that? It's a tough record to go
He's
for.
done, bro. He just became a 15-time major champion since 2008, dude. I'm 100% honest. I think Tiger will win at least 2 more majors.
Mm-hmm.
He will not stop until he's like 57 or like 60 years old.
Well,
he will be. I guarantee, and because what British Opens are like, dude. Like, it could honestly be anybody at the age of 55 and younger.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well,
he'll probably win 1 more at least. I would even bet money on it if I saw like a bookie or somebody. But I mean, in all honesty, man, I really doubt I would, if somebody told me he would not to win another one, I would just like, wow.
Yeah.
Tripping, bro. Or I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Either or. But, I mean, yeah.
Well, and it's kind of a different game from now back when Nicklaus was playing. Just because you have some of those young guys that are just all over the place.
Wooden shafts versus the metal. And, and different golf courses all together too. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'll tell you one thing, that dude is back.
Yeah.
He is back, lighting shit up and just intimidating people, man. The red and black is back in action, man.
Yeah.
It is now a
real
thing.
And we're talking about that record where Nicklaus has 18 majors and Tiger Woods is at 15, and it's hard to win majors, especially now these days.
Oh yeah, man. It's quite a feat to climb. I mean, yeah, back then, there'd be like 3 to 4 guys just cycling, through 1 through 4th place. Nowadays, it's just
between Palmer and Nicklaus,
you'll see a dude that
Yeah.
you've never heard of, and he's finishing in the top 5 of major championships. So I mean, it's just different type of game,
Well,
so,
talking about those guys,
for lots of people to just ridiculously good at, and you'd have no clue who they are, but I mean, they're just lighting shit up for a week, and they're better than the Dustin Johnson or whoever, Rory McIlroy. I don't know, but so it's just a different type of game, man. It's weird, but
well, that's what makes it exciting, is because now that Tiger Woods is back, people are like, we're tuning back. I know the golf enthusiasts, they've been watching golf, regardless. But now that Tiger Woods, that name is back, people are like, dude, did you catch that tournament last weekend? You didn't hear that until Tiger Woods came back, really, unless it was like the major tournament.
Yeah. No, there is and always will be, a, however you want to call it, the Tiger girl factor. In all honesty, man, I mean, it's always been there. I mean, dude, I don't know. Dude's a cool guy in the golf world. Everybody's all about him. I mean, yeah. I mean, I am too. I mean, I cannot lie if Tiger's playing in the golf tournament. I'm going to watch it. Obviously, it's exciting. It's not the type of golf that's boring. It's different type of.
Well,
he definitely realizes that guy knows he has the world in his palm as he's playing good golf. He definitely knows he's being watched. He's very, very good at that too. But yeah, man, he's a professional. He's best of them all.
Well,
it's like LeBron, dude. You don't think LeBron knows he's being watched and can constantly just judged and analyzed, dude? He knows he's very good at that shit too. So, I mean,
well, and talking about Tiger Woods, that comeback story that he had, because there was that time span of like 4 or 5 years where everything was super negative. And you see him, I mean, between the accident with his ex-wife or ex-ex-wife, and how many girls he's been with.
That was a shocker, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, a lot of Hollywood relationships, dude, are very hush-hush. But the wife still knows the guy is a scumbag and is cheating on him, like, as many opportunities as possible, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's admit, I think majority of Hollywood relationships are like that. Like, and I'm assuming both the couples know, like, that's, you know, a common thing. I don't know, but
well,
dude, I was surprised because if you are getting with more than 3 girls with, you know, your wife has no clue, bro. You are flirting with a disaster, dude.
Mm-hmm.
My man, she will find out, or something will happen, man. I'm sorry. That's just no bueno.
Yeah, well, it's a different world now, because back then, I mean, until social media became a thing, is like you probably, things were happening behind the scenes, but you couldn't see it. You know, they put everything on the front, everything they wanted you to see, you could see, but everything that's happening behind the scenes, you can't see. Well, now it's different with Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I mean, all that. It's like you're constantly on a camera. So if you do something, it doesn't matter who it is. If they get a photo and video, that's up and everybody's going to see it. Your name's involved. Millions of people are going to see it, and you're going to be all over the country.
Yeah, dude, it is I mean, you're living in a glass house, man. It is a world of that. I mean, I will say that, and that to, like, anybody who is above the age of, 35 and older. I mean, that is just how it is these days. I mean, you can't hide anything. I mean, it's social media range or just hacking,
Mm-hmm.
People talk about, like, oh, I hacked my whatever account. I hacked, I don't have to pay for anything. Or, yeah, I definitely, like, went through some, like, firewall, and it's just, like, he proves in all honesty, like, if somebody wants to find out something, they can be, like, motivated. And, simply go on a Google machine and find out, like, a how-to guide to do, just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit. You hear about shit in school about, like, people, like, how-to guide, like, on how to, like, build, like, fucking pipe bombs and shit. I mean, like, of course they have, like, how-to guides, like, how to hack shit. I mean, like, yeah, but, oh, man, it's just, like, a fucked up world. I mean, you think about it, like, the how-to shit online. And
oh, yeah.
pretty much you can just Google anything and find out and just do it. And you just, oh, yeah, I Googled it. Not a big deal.
Well, Google and YouTube. I mean, YouTube is pretty much a hand-to-hand instruction of how to do it.
Yeah, man.
But
an interesting, theory altogether. But I don't know, man. I mean, you obviously know, like, I mean, we grew up in Pendleton, Oregon, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we never actually, we did have like 2 or 3 bomb threats. I'm pretty sure, maybe 2.
Well, those were mostly used just to get out of school for a couple hours.
Yeah, and they actually worked. I think some dude was like, "Oh man, I forgot how to test today."
Well, I remember that one of those happened, and I was home sick, and so the next day I was like, "Oh, someone decided to show up. Apparently, we had a bomb threat yesterday, but someone was missing, so I got shit for that."
Yeah.
But
PHS days, dude. I don't miss them, but it really is amazing, though. What the things you can Google, find out, and just, oh, no, that's why they do that. That's why they just, like, hold the school at ransom.
Yeah.
Like, I guess so, man. And there's how to do it. It's right there on Google.
Well, and that's the scary thing, is that, it depends on how you use this technology and how you use that kind of information. Because if you use it for good, I mean, yeah, you can do something really cool. But if you want to do something bad and it's right there and it's a kind of a go-to instruction, I mean, that's scary stuff, and it can happen anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's no joke. It really is, man. I definitely would agree. I mean, I'll tell you one thing, though, man. It seemed like when I was younger compared to when, like, we left Pendleton, dude, is it just strange how many, like, just, like, crime-related things happening in Pendleton? Like, as far as, like, stabbings, like, and stuff like that going on? Or, I don't know. I swear when I, like, left Pendleton, I heard everybody talking about, like, people getting stabbed by the levee or, like, somebody like ran their car into somebody or something, and like took off or.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's just more of a situational thing. I mean, it can happen anywhere. I don't think it's tied down to exactly where it's at. I know, yeah, because it's in Pendleton, it's going to be blown up because there is that one incident where it's like, what just happened? That doesn't usually happen. But I think it's more just a situational thing where it's like,
maybe, and possibly we just didn't pay attention to it, when we were like 15 to like 20, versus 21 to like 23 or 4,
Well, I know.
I started, I was about like 20 to 21 or like 21 to like 23.
Yeah.
All I heard about was just like stabbings going on and people like hiding in, remote locations or, just like, doing sketch ass shit and like, oh, damn. I mean,
yeah,
but
well, it's
I don't mind Pendleton, bro. It's actually a chill town.
Yeah.
As far as like criminal activity.
Well, we're used to hearing, Portland and Portland like
Portland's
that. You're just hearing it, you're just like, but that's the thing though, is stuff like that, especially in a small town, it's just going to be brought up. And again, when I was growing up, and like kind of like you said, it's like, from the years probably from when we started high school to maybe a couple of years into college.
You never had anything happen really. Like I swear there was like nothing. Like nobody like brought knives to school and jacked each other up. Probably.
Yeah.
Nobody did anything bad in our high school ever, man. Yeah.
Well, there was one.
It was kind of weird.
There was one time.
School, bro.
I want to remember. I think it was like back in Pendleton. You had the 2A state dances, and it was either that or it was the Roundup like under 821 dance. They had it at the rec center, Pendleton Rec.
Oh yeah.
And one of the nights we were there, and it was like maybe an hour in, and then all of a sudden they turned the lights on, and so we're like, what's going on?
Brawl, dude. Somebody's fighting.
Well, no, it was a little different.
Yeah.
A guy there was like 20 cops right there at the front gate, front door.
Yeah.
It was Roundup time, so cops. There's going to be a lot of cops because Roundup's crazy week. And
dude, there's always like 50 of them.
Yeah, and so a guy brought a backpack in, and there was 2 9mm. It was like a bag of coke and a bunch of like weed and a bunch of drugs in this guy's backpack that he was trying to smuggle into the dance. And they caught it because, I mean, you bring a backpack in there, that's the first thing they're going to check, 101. But
whoa.
So they flipped the lights on, and it took about an hour and a half until we're like, we'll keep, if you go in farther, we'll keep the lights off towards the DJ and kind of away from the front gate, but we're going to keep the lights on just to make sure this doesn't happen again. Because think about it. If they didn't check that or that he got away with it, you don't know what could have happened.
Yeah, just some tweaker thinking he can get into the dance, all like fucking on his tweaking shit. Like, oh yeah, let's go through my 9mm in here. No big deal.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wasn't really thinking about it at the time, but then I heard it and I was like, oh shit. I don't know what was gonna happen.
Nice, bro. Yeah, that's like. I swear, if you go to a club in Portland, bro, you could see somebody chilling in like a booth or something. They're like packing heater. I have no idea, bro. But
well, just again, it depends on the situation, and again, it depends on who is the person that's bringing that in. If it's somebody, you see it all the time. Somebody has a gun, but it's like a concealed weapon, or not concealed weapon, but it's outside. It's in a holster. They've got a permit. I'm not worried about that because if they took the time to do all that. That means that they know the weapon, they know how to handle it, and it's not there used as some kind of device. It's a protection unit. That I'm okay with. Yeah. It's the ones that you definitely don't know that's there, but they have it. And then out of nowhere, something can happen.
It's just, it trips me out too, man. I mean, like I said, bro, it's Pendleton. I mean, what did we ever have to put up with as far as real life issues and real criminal activity issues, like I had nothing going on, bro. It's Pendleton, Oregon. Like, I'm pretty sure that town is actually like top places in Oregon to raise a family. Like as far as like
Well,
I'm
pretty
pretty
much.
sure it's like top 10, bro.
Yeah, it is in Eastern Oregon. There are a few towns in that, but that's a good thing. I mean, you're over here, but that's what makes it interesting
I think
because
there's
if
like
something.
hardly any criminal activity, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of a fun spill, but we've got Blazers going on tonight, and I know you're a big Blazers fan,
I
and
am, dude. I am. I haven't really been, paying attention recently because, I'm just a, lazy bum. But yes, dude, I am definitely like believing, I believe in the Blazers. I do not believe in this league. I am shaking in my boots with a league that is, of 2019, 2020. I don't know about you, man, but
well, there's a ton of changes, and
it's
that's
a hill to climb, bro. It's a long and steep. It's more of an endurance type hill, not a steep hill. I'll say that because the league is just sick, bro. I mean, just solid.
well, and more so that Western Conference itself. Teams from like that Western playoffs from 1 to like maybe even 1 to 8 is all going to be competitive.
It will be honest in that honestly from 5 to 8, there could be NBA championship contenders. There's no question. I mean, think about it. Like 5 through 8 could be. In all honesty, it could be Lakers, it could be Blazers, it could be probably not. I think Clippers will be definitely 1 or 3. Who else?
Well, you've got Denver, you've got Houston, you've got teams like San Antonio that they somehow it's not like they have a star technically. I mean, they still have DeRozan, they still have a good
I'm not big
cast.
on San Antonio. I'm big on Denver.
But you've got a lot of teams in the West that and Golden State, I mean, they're going to completely drop. They're going to.
Golden State will not be anything special this year without Clay. I'm sorry, man, but
and losing Curry for the season.
Is he out for the season?
Yeah, he broke his hand.
I thought it was like a 1 to 2 month injury.
He said they came out and they said, I think it was yesterday, that he broke his left hand and he was going to get surgery and it was going to be a 3-month recovery.
That's what I saw. Yeah, at least a 2 to 3 month recovery, and then they're just saying it's going to be kind of a like Warriors, like they just try and hang around and maybe make the playoffs, maybe.
I think, and I was talking to a buddy of mine about this, and I think the smart move, if you're Golden State, is you let Curry rest, get him ready for next season. You have D'Angelo Russell, you've got Klay Thompson coming in next season. Why don't you let them go, let them play this season out, and if you start, I wouldn't say tanking, but if you get in a position to get a good draft pick, and then you look at the team next year, you'll get Thompson healthy, Curry healthy, potentially a 1 through 5 draft pick, so a young player that can fit in that mold and be productive. Draymond Green, D'Angelo Russell, I mean, that starting 5, you get them healthy for next season with a good rookie. I mean, you're looking at a contender again.
It's just, they're not the same Warriors. I mean, you remember the 12-13 Warrior team.
Mm-hmm.
Just super efficient ball handling, or in ball, movement. I mean, kind of like the Spurs almost. And then you remember 13-14, 14-15, then, KD shows up, and they are just a, like, completely different Warriors team,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their identity has changed so much in the past that, I mean, I'm not denying that they'll be good with D'Angelo Russell. I'm just denying the fact that they'll, be Western Conference Finals bound or, top 1 through 3 seed in the playoffs. But, I mean, I remember the Warriors, man, in, 12-13, 13-14, and they were just solid 1 through 5 positions. Just, I mean, great role players, and then Steph and Clay doing their thing, bro.
Well,
and it was like so fun to watch.
Well, it's not just Steph and Clay that are out. I mean, half their starting lineup is completely out for injuries. You lost Looney, so you lost your post, and so right now they're 2-8, sitting in the season, and they're not hanging around, especially in the West.
Figure stuff out anyways. I mean, I'll be honest. If they had everybody healthy this year, they would still struggle.
Yeah.
I think because I mean they just got to figure some stuff out, like how they're gonna mesh together, and just other things as well, man. I mean, and over in Brooklyn, man, with KD and Kyrie, I mean that is a force to be reckoned with. That is not in the Western Conference. I mean, like I hate to say it, man, it just became a very, very competitive league. Like, there's going to be such things as easy wins. In this season, you will have very little amount of easy wins as compared to past seasons.
Well, I think if you play in the East, if you look at the East, you got Milwaukee, you've got Philadelphia right now.
Milwaukee is
Brooklyn,
not easy win, man.
No, I'm saying they're the two teams that can have easy wins in the East, Milwaukee and Philadelphia, because those teams are right now the favorites in the East. You might throw I would probably wouldn't put Toronto, and maybe they're the 3 team, maybe they're the 4 team, but after Milwaukee and after Philadelphia, 3 through 8, it could be anybody.
It really could. It honestly, yeah. It's nobody ever really knows on the East, man, and I'm always like kind of like curious, like why is that? Nobody wants to play for the Knicks. Nobody wants to go and play for Philadelphia, man. I mean, like didn't Jimmy Butler just leave Philadelphia?
Well, he left to Miami, and he's back and he's getting healthy. But the thing is, if you're on a team, and that's the crazy thing is when you're on a team and you've got 3 guys that can be the guy, and if someone doesn't want to take that,
it's Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah.
Well, Ben Simmons. But it's hype, bro. It's all hype with Ben Simmons. He's mediocre at best. He's not a big 3. It's just Joel Embiid. Let's face it. I mean, he's a great role player. Great role player. In my opinion, Ben Simmons. I mean, I don't think he's by any means going to carry the team or put the team on his back and, produce results that, produce wins. I mean, that's just my opinion, but.
Well, it's also a league of being healthy. I think that's the main thing. You can have a great team.
Has no 3-ball, though. No 3-ball.
Well, and you have 3-point shooters around him. The thing that makes Ben Simmons, I think, I wouldn't say special, but a guy that can contribute and be a force, is he can do everything else between ball handling, between rebounding, scoring inside the lane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be that guy that can step out 30 feet and hit you game-winning 3. That's just not how he's going to play. Now, he's working on it, but it's still not going to be efficient. He's going to be the guy that if you need a quick 2, and he can draw in the defense, and then he can give a little toss to Embiid down there as well. I mean, you've got 2 options. Do you go Embiid, does Simmons get an easy basket on a dunk or a lay-in, or do you cover him, and then that leaves Embiid wide open underneath? Or you cover in double teams on both of them, and you kick it out to a guy that's wide open, and he can make that shot. I mean, that's the big thing about him, is he draws the defense regardless, and he's a good passer that he can find that open guy and make that, and hopefully that guy can make that shot.
Well, look, I know he's, a 6'11" and almost a point guard, the way his ball handling can be, but I mean, I'm telling you, man, if he just develops his shooting, he would be okay. Like Ben Simmons is he's the man in Philadelphia along with Joel Embiid. But he's not the man. I mean, he's a great role player. He can bring the ball to the court and threaten the defense, but they know he's not going to shoot 3. So, I mean, they just hang back and you're like, okay, well, I mean, we'll let you bust them all night. It's not going to.
Well, I'm looking at the roster right now, and you've got Tobias Harris, who's more of a 3-point shooter, but you look at this team, they're still relatively young. I mean, Simmons is only 23.
I'm trying to find his stats. I'm trying to see how he shoots, how he is just in general, his ball handling, and I mean he's a great rebounder. I will say
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'm looking at other stats here. He's a mediocre player with pretty good rebounding skills. I'll say that. But I mean, how many of those are in the NBA right now? I just feel like the hype around him is just. I don't think I'm sick of it really, but I mean, when I hear about it, it's just like, yeah. I mean, tune whatever I'm listening to, or change the channel because I mean, I don't see him being very. He could be though. I do see potential. I mean, I see the hype and potential. I don't think he's good though right now.
Well, and you talk about, if you want to talk about a comparison, compare him to LeBron when he was young, because LeBron was not a strong three-point shooter. He developed it, but LeBron had better mechanics than Simmons heading into it. He would take threes, but he wasn't efficient until like year 7, year 8. Not saying Ben Simmons is going to develop that unless he, has to work on it really hard, but he's got kind of that same mold where he is that point guard that's 6'10". Now, Philadelphia doesn't have that true point guard. If you can get a guy, a good solid point guard, and then that allows Simmons to kind of be the guy that comes off the edge and not having to bring it up, and then making cuts to the basket, because athletically, there's not many people that can contain him, especially at his size.
But honestly, I know, but is he a great scorer though? I'm looking at his stats right now, and he averages 16 points through his career of 2017 through 2020, and the 19th season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying great role player. Like, if I've actually, let me rephrase this. If Ben Simmons was playing for the Spurs and Coach Popovich, he could be a star and be an all-star player. More than one-time all-star player.
Well, and that's the true of all these guys. If you're in the right system,
I honestly think, yeah.
If you're in the right system,
I just don't see the real production from him right now. I mean, what I see is potential. That he's had 4 seasons, and it's not. Maybe it takes him 8 seasons. Maybe it takes him 5 seasons. Who really is the decider of that? Nobody. I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I guess Father Time. You can say Father Time is the decider.
Well,
or if he ever comes around, but no, I think he's a great role player. Not on a specific team, the right system. I mean, it's just like Tom and a little extreme, comparison, but Tom and Belichick. You take Tom away from Belichick, it'd be god awful. It'd be, Brett Favre and the Vikings type of bullshit. So yeah.
Well, that's what I've always thought is you put a player in the right system. There's only a handful of players that it doesn't matter what you do. You can put them in anywhere and they're going to thrive because they are that one-on-one guy. Now, Ben Simmons, I don't think is that one-on-one guy. He's going to be the guy that if they find a point guard, because I think he would be more effective off the ball instead of with the ball, because he isn't that guy that can pull back and make that big shot. He's got to drive to the basket. Now, if you keep the ball out of his hands and use his athleticism to get and make cuts to the hoop, that's where he would be effective. But they don't have that guy in Philadelphia. They thought Markelle Fultz was going to be that guy, and he has struggled ever since that pick.
Definitely.
And found himself on a couple of other teams. That's what happens.
Man, I'm really hoping for the Blazers this year, though. With the Clippers coming out and the Nuggets being the Nuggets. And the Nuggets are young, man, and developing. They are not getting worse.
Yeah, especially with Michael Porter Jr. now being healthy, who was their first-round pick last year.
And they're good shooters.
Well, the thing with Portland is they've got to get healthy. And they've got too many injuries now that it's tough because, you brought in, you're going to have Nurk, but Nurk's not going to be back until probably February, still nursing that broken leg injury. And Pau Gasol's going to be out still for a while.
We'll be okay with that. Oh, Pau's out?
Pau's out. He's still out. He's been nursing a hurt foot. He hasn't played this season and still working on that. And then you lost Collins out with a shoulder, and he's going to be out potentially until the playoffs. So you've got Whiteside. They had to bring in 2 guys from the G League to kind of fill out their roster. And the one area that
Collins? I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Zach Collins.
What's his first name again?
Zach.
Zach Collins from
Yeah.
Gonzaga. Yeah. That's going to be very detriment. I feel like that's going to impact the team more than people are anticipating.
Well, he was that guy that that youthful post guy that can make the big blocks.
He was
can
a
get
very
rebounds.
good bench player, and he could actually. I mean, in all honesty, he's probably averaging 10 to 15 points a game, was. Wasn't he? I'm not sure. I wouldn't.
He's a double. I would say he's probably a 10 and 8 guy.
But I just remember when he was playing, man, he can score and he can shoot threes. I mean,
yeah, and he's I think more so he's more of a influencer on the course because he's also known for his defense. He's going to be one of your best post defensive players. Now when they get
and savvy. I mean, just like gritty type of defender. I mean, he's not big and strong, but he is just gritty.
Well, he's athletic for his size, and he gained about 15 pounds of muscle this season compared to last. So he's a very strong player now. He's been
rich man. The Mavericks, dude. They can actually pan out and be very good. I'm not saying like they're going to be, top team this year, or definitely a difficult team to play against this year. But I mean, in all honesty, I think the Mavericks could be sneaky good. I mean, just like come under the radar and just like everybody just like, oh my, you gotta be shitting me type of,
Yeah, I think they're a player away from becoming a real threat in the West.
I don't know, man. With Porzingis coming, isn't he coming off his injury? And
he's playing.
He's playing now. Yeah,
but
he wasn't playing last year.
No, he got the trade. He got hurt, and he's back, and they're playing well.
He's just getting his feet wet right now. I mean, and with the that freaking
Luka Doncic. Luka.
Yeah. That I know. You and I both know. Yeah, that kid that can just shoot threes like nobody's business, man. He is amazing. Doncic, Luka. That guy is just absolutely, amazing to watch. I mean, almost stupid to watch, 2 point. I mean, so.
Yeah. Well, right now they sit number 1 in the Southwest Division with a 6-3 record.
That's what I'm saying, man. They are efficient, man. And really in this league right now, that's all you really need is just a good system and a super, an all-star big man and an all-star, guard or shooting guard. Or, I mean, small forward, but, I mean, you'd prefer a good, all-star shooting guard with another all-star, big man. So,
yeah. Well, and think about it. Looking at the size that Dallas has, because, again, Luka is not a small guy. He's 6'7", and he can play the 1 through.
He's a pretty good. He's actually small forward, actually, isn't he?
Well, he's mostly used. He's mostly used as a shooting guard, but he can play. He can be the 1. He can be the 3.
He is a shooting guard. Yeah.
He's really a guy who can make plays with the ball, without the ball, and then you've got Porzingis, who's 7'3", who can really do it all too. And not only do you have that,
he's a man, dude. Have you seen him nowadays? After he beefed up.
Yeah.
He went from, drop you off at 9 p.m.,
The New York Unicorn was his nickname.
She's staying at my place, Netflix, and chilling for the rest of the week. Yeah. I mean, that dude is a man nowadays, bro. I mean, like, that dude has got some size to him.
Not only Porzingis, but you've got Boban down there in the center, which at 7'4", just clogs up the lane. You don't have to use him a lot, but in situations where you got a driver, you just throw him down there.
Yeah.
That makes it tough on anybody.
Yeah. And then Mark Cuban just doing his thing. I mean, talking his goddamn mouth off. So, I mean, team just, ends up in the gutter because Mark Cuban can't shut his damn mouth. But, I mean, you know my opinion. When Brooklyn is full healthy, you already know my opinion. They're getting rings.
I think they've got a chance. It's going to be definitely interesting, but you look at the teams that you got to go against.
Getting rings, bro. I'm sorry. It's just, think of this, man. Okay, imagine a perfect basketball player in today's league.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be Dennis Rodman anymore, man. I mean, you can, but I mean, the way that the league is made, or I mean, the way that the league rules are now, it's just a different game. I mean, you can't touch anybody, when they're shooting nowadays. So, I mean, like, imagine a perfect basketball player nowadays in this, league. Just somebody who can create space and obviously make buckets at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, nobody does that better than KD, and he's 6'11".
Yeah.
Nobody does that better than Kyrie, and Kyrie is 6'2", or I don't know, 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
You have the best ball handlers of their size, in the end. Who's a better ball handler than KD? At 7 foot tall, bro. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I have no goddamn clue, bro. Like, he's such a good ball handler at his size. And then and nobody's a better ball handler than Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot even debate that, bro. And I'm terrified, bro, when they're gonna be healthy, dude. Like, it's gonna be just absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
but, I mean, who knows, man? KD's not getting younger. I'll say that. His body's not getting any younger. He's not under KD anymore. But I mean, playing in Golden State, I mean, you get so much rest time. You don't even have to try and or second quarter is half the games. I mean, you're just on autopilot, and third quarter, you don't have to really do much either. I mean, you just jack up threes until scoreboard maxes out. But I mean, who knows, man? I'm interested because I mean, those two is just. I mean, they're obviously the best ball handlers at both their size. At 6'11" or 7'2". I don't know what KD is.
I think he's 6'11".
That dude, it just flies, bro. There's no stopping Kyrie. That guy's an amazing ball handler.
Well, I think the bigger question, because you look at the East, and you're going to have, once they're healthy, Brooklyn's going to be a big factor in that.
Oh, man. And I'm sorry. I totally forgot, too. The East is scheduled, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to have the softest schedule, and then they show up at the NBA Finals rested, ready to go. I mean, it's too easy, bro. I mean, just give them rings. I mean, I could be talking out my ass, bro, or talking some stupid shit, but
well, you also got to look. You got to look
reality, it seems like.
You got to look at the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard be able to beat Golden State.
And Kawhi is Kawhi, man. He is his own, just
Well, you add Paul George to that.
Yeah, no. Kawhi. I would honestly take Kawhi over Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Just if I was a franchise guy looking for a franchise player.
Well, it's a no-brainer.
Kawhi.
It's no-brainer you take Kawhi over Kyrie because Kawhi you get defense too.
I don't know who you would take over Kawhi or Leonard though. I mean.
At this point, you wouldn't.
He goes up and brings you a championship ring, or he's healthy for the season, so you get to semifinals of the Eastern Conference, or semifinals of the Western Conference, or he impacts teams. I'll say that.
Well, you get them in the long haul, so you got George there for 4 years, Leonard there for 4 years. Now you're at a point where you've got options and the people in the off season. Hey, come join us. Let's start something. You're in LA. The Clippers are now relevant. You get to compete against the Lakers. That's your rival. LeBron at what, 36? He's still playing like LeBron, but time's going to catch up. Anthony Davis only has a 1-year deal with Los Angeles. He hasn't re-signed. So he could potentially be a free agent after the season if he doesn't re-sign in LA. Now, the chances of him probably re-signing the Lakers, I don't know what it is, but it's probably not too bad of a chance for him to do that. But if he decides to go somewhere else, then that's going to open up the game because who else is he going to want to play for? That's the interesting thing. He's kind of in that same situation.
I want to see L Train as a Blazer again. I've been sick of rumors, man. I'm sorry.
Well, the rumors are either L Train or trade for.
I mean,
the rumors.
I mean, in all honesty, you think about it. disappointment. Yeah.
Well, you've got LaMarcus Aldridge, rumors of him wanting to come back to Portland, which would be a good addition, especially with the injuries they've had. But then you got to think, who are we going to?
He'd even be a great impact player. He would definitely be a good scorer, though. And I mean, it's Portland, bro. I mean, we just function on great shooters. Like, I'd still take Nurk over Aldridge. Yeah, that's just me. I think Nurk is much better. I mean, rebounder, defender, just all around better, big man. But,
well,
I'll say this: he'd be better than Powell.
Yeah. Well, the rumors.
He'd give you better results than Powell Gasol.
The rumors are could Portland potentially trade for Kevin Love and get him out of Cleveland?
Now that would be much more intriguing because I honestly believe Kevin Love just got wrapped up in the LeBron James, routine in Cleveland,
mm-hmm.
which was it's LeBron's way or pack your shit and go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, I honestly think Caleb just got a little bit stressed out in Cleveland from the LeBron James just, do as I say, how I say it, facilitating type of basketball. Yeah, man. Yeah. And I think if he comes to Portland, bro, he would definitely be in his own element. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's where I grew up, and
yeah,
this is a good basketball team, and they definitely are, special to me. I wouldn't anticipate, man. I don't know. But oh shit, man.
If that happened, I
20
think
20 on. I'm watching the football game right now, man. It just tied the game.
Yeah.
Cowboys, bro.
Well, I think the big thing about this is if this happens, this trade, it's a mid-season trade, and Portland, you've got to think, what do we have to offer Cleveland?
Are you watching, Curran? Are you watching the game right now?
I am not at the point.
Oh, damn, dude. I'm sorry.
But
Amari Cooper just proved why he's Amari Cooper in this catch. Wow. Very, very athletic catch. But, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Continue. Yeah. I thought I was going to shed a little light with you if you were watching too. But
the big thing, I think, with this is that Portland, you've got to think, who are your assets to trade? You've got some draft picks, but you also have a young team. Now, if you're Cleveland, you're wanting Anford. You want Simons. That's the trade pick you want.
I'll say this, man. I'm interested in seeing who we can get for CJ. I'm not saying let's see and let's find out and do it. But, I mean, honestly, when I think about it, and can we get a superstar big man here in Portland?
Well, the big interesting is he did resign, so he does have a few-year contract. So if you do trade him, it's not a one-year rental. You're getting him for a few seasons, so you can make it. I don't think they want to break up that Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum combo in the backcourt.
No, it is good. It is a great duo, man. I wouldn't break it up either, but I mean, I just feel like this last year's playoff run was just so many good shots falling our way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know what, man, we are just we cannot miss in this playoff series. And then we get to Golden State, and it's just like, okay, we did what we could, and it's freaking Golden State.
Yeah.
So, but man, it just would have been very, very interesting if Nurkic was healthy, all throughout the entire playoffs, and as well as. I just felt like it was a lot of lucky shots falling our way.
Mm-hmm. Well, the interesting thing I think about this is Hassan Whiteside is only on a 1-year contract with Portland, and he's costing you $18 million. So money-wise, you could do Hassan and a player and probably a pick to get Kevin Love over to Portland. Now, I think if you trade, you got to keep away from. You're going to try to keep Simons. You don't want to get rid of him because he's developed into a great off the bench scorer for them and potentially could be a starter here in the league. And if they decide to maybe,
I'm not. You're bigger on the Blazers than I am, but Simons out.
Well, with him, I think he's kind of your future. With that team because he's only 20 years old, and I mean if you do trade C.J. McCollum, because McCollum again at 28, He has a new contract. He's getting 28.
I'm not saying do it, but I'm saying, let's look into options.
Yes.
Let's not rule it out. Because, it'd be great to have a Blake Griffin or somebody who can just, CJ right now is going off, and he is peaking.
Mm-hmm.
He had an amazing playoff run last.
Well, that makes his trade value go up.
He almost carried the Blazers at certain points. Dame wasn't doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's another reason why I also agreed to just simply look into it, not obviously, pull the trigger, because that would be, I think losing CJ would be just, very, very, I don't know, very difficult to recover from. But bro, if we get a superstar big man, to replace McCollum, that solves a lot of.
Well, and you think what your lineup option would be this. If you're able to pull the trigger on that and even possibly do a straight trade for McCollum, for Kevin Love, and maybe a player, if that's the way they go, you look at that starting five, you would have Whiteside, Love, and then at 3, you would probably put Bazemore there, and then at 2, you would put Simons, and you'd have Lillard. So you look at that lineup. If Simons is a real deal and you think he's the guy that can take over and be productive at McCollum's spot, which I think he can, but I also think McCollum takes a lot of the defense. So when Simons goes on,
takes a lot of pressure off Lillard too.
Takes a lot of pressure off both of them. Then Simons comes in, it's a little bit softer defense that he's going against, and he's putting up big points off the bench. You put him in a starter role, it'll change because now they're going to have a game plan for him. So it might be different looks that he's going to get, and he's not quite, I think, there mentally like CJ, where he can make big shots after big shots. Simons might struggle there for a few seasons. He's only 20, again, so that's something he can develop. But if you think he's going to... And CJ struggled that for a couple seasons as well. From his rookie season to that, he struggled, and it wasn't until probably 2 seasons ago where he started to pick up that confidence and that mentality of being that guy that can close games if they need him to. If Lillard's off, McCollum takes over. So, there's an interesting point on that. What way do you think your future is going to go, and which one's going to make your team better? If you can keep all 3 and get Love, that would be the ultimate win. Who would you get rid of? And you probably say Whiteside, because Whiteside's 30 years old. He's on a 1-year deal, so he hasn't re-signed in Portland. And you can get...
Yeah, he's definitely very changeable.
And you get Nurk back. So, potentially you get Nurk back, and you have him on a multi-year deal, so he's going to be your center. You're thinking he'll stay healthy. You get Collins back, so post-wise, you're going to be a little bit more set, and then you don't have the decision, do we start Whiteside or do we start Nurk? Nurk's also 5 years younger than Whiteside. So... It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it'll be the same deal with Whiteside and Nurkic. I think obviously Nurk is the man. Whiteside will come in and compliment him. He will definitely not ever fill his shoes, but he will definitely take some pressure off Nurk. That would be the goal.
Well,
but I think Zach Collins definitely does that in his own way too. He is an amazing scorer.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is Whiteside's having a pretty good season this year. He's productive, double-double, 19, 15 kind of stats, which trade-wise, it looks good. So if he's having a good season, then it's easier to get rid of him.
We also picked up Nasir Little.
Mm-hmm.
He could develop in and out, bro. I'm not saying, the Blazers are in their draft picks. They're just fucking almost god-awful, or damn near god-awful to mediocre. But I think we definitely lucked out. A lot of people are saying that we, could have something special with him.
Well, he's 19, but he also has that 3 body that could develop. Kawhi was a 14 pick or 15 pick. And I'm not saying Little's Kawhi, but similar body athleticism that could develop.
It's so hard to tell. Obviously, if it was easy to tell, it would be very, very, basic type of process with drafting, but it's not, man. Nobody has got a, solid idea of, how drafts should be and, how to pick and where and, where to pick them and, which ones are developing, which ones, there's no cookbook or, drafting in the NBA for dummies book. It's just, it's probably so difficult that,
I mean, look at Belichick, dude. He doesn't even bother drafting anymore at all. He just simply picks your different teams, man, and, find players' contracts that are going up and, develops them, and he's done with them, But, I mean, at least that's, it seems like it, man. I mean, but.
Well, and I think the thing with him is he knows how to make it work. And it doesn't matter. And if it doesn't work, he doesn't have that, like, oh, we'll hang on. If it doesn't work with New England, he'll cut you. I mean, it's simple as that. Everybody's replaceable. If you're not doing your job, everybody's replaceable.
That's a team that's so good and so well. I mean, they're going to their championship or Super Bowl or whatever, and just like, no, we're not taking a chance on some young guy that it's going to take him 2 or 3 years to develop. But no, we're taking a chance on a guy that's already been in the league for 2 to 3 years, and we're going to pick him up after his rookie contract and milk the goddamn shit out of him, bro, while he's getting paid dog shit money, and then they just get rid of him then. But
well, and he's also known for, hey, you know what, our guy's having a good season and he wants to get paid, like a star. He'll get rid of him and he'll let them go. Someone else will buy him, and then they'll not do anything.
I imagine though a lot of coaches would like to avoid drafting players from the college, them in college, because it's just so hard to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to know how bodies develop or how people develop in a different league too. It's just
Well, that's why you've got to do your research. You've got to look at. I think you have to look at more than what they've done on the field. I think off-field judgment is very important, because you want a guy that you can rely on, because not only his decisions on the field, but his decisions off the field show what he can do on the field. If you get a guy that, it shows up and he might not be the best player. I mean, perfect example, Julian Edelman. He's a guy that's going to be overlooked at everything he did, and then he comes into the league like in a 6th or 7th round, undrafted.
I mean, with his offensive schemes, I mean, that guy just he finds open passes, and I don't know. And Jules, dude, he is honestly so difficult to get a understanding of, like, how he's going to run his route.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it could be a 5-yard in, it could be a 5-yard hook, bro, and it'd be so swift and so clean, and you would be just in the dust, bro, once he catches the ball, dude. Yeah, bro. I mean, trust me, like, that dude runs some clean routes, bro.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is when you're in, I think, perfect example for Belichick is he's the guy that kind of helped bring the slot receiver.
He's just got that stature too. Like, he's 5'6" and just can run a amazingly clean route. Like just so sharp and crisp, dude, and so difficult to cover.
Well, it's the scheme. I believe the scheme and the offensive game plan that can allow those players to succeed. And Belichick knows how to put them in the right spot, because when you're doing that, they don't throw the ball more than 40 yards down the field, because Brady can't put that zip on anymore. But what he can do is he can
lob him.
He can lob
a good 30 to 40-yard pass, but it's not often.
No,
it's not like every game type of thing.
Unless your guy gets wide open, he'll let it go. But what he's going to do, and I think this is the perfect example for teams, is, you know what, you don't have to take that chance. I will take 4 passes of 10 to 15 yards, clean route, put it right in the money, be accurate with the ball, and then, because with those rules, I mean, pretty much after that 5 yards, you guy can't touch them. And you make one cut in or you make a slant in, you're going to get that inside route, and you have to have a guy that has hands. Well, Edelman is a guy that has hands, so you give him the ball, and it doesn't matter who's on him, and he just doesn't have to run 15 yards past the play. He's going to get that first down and keep moving the ball. That's the thing. You can keep moving forwards. Doesn't matter. 5, 7 yards, they all add up. You don't have to go for that 25, 30-yarder every time and depend on those big receivers to do that. It's nice to have, but if you can get those inside receivers that are going to get you, 6, 7 yards a catch, then you're going to take that all day. And that's what they're using.
Yeah, a little off topic, man. You, I am sure of all people, my dude, are, Oregon State enthusiasts, or, I would say Oregon State, athletics supporter. So
the lead running back, I think last year's team or 2 years ago was Ryan Nall. Are you familiar with?
Yep. Got signed with the Chicago Bears.
So that is my cousin's best friend right there.
Okay.
I am not joking at all, bro. And he's playing the NFL. He's on the active roster for the Bears right now.
And I think he should have been there sooner.
Yeah. And I was talking to my cousin. He was saying, he was OSU's go-to.
Yeah.
Like that dude, he was their pounder, bro.
He was the Wrecking Null.
Put the team on his back. Yeah. He was what?
The Wrecking Null was his nickname.
Yeah, bro.
So
definitely.
And that's actually a perfect example with those guys because he wasn't drafted. He went undrafted, got onto and that's the good thing. If you don't get drafted like in the 6th or 7th round and you go undrafted, then you can try out for teams and you can find teams because isn't
that crazy though, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually see pictures of him when he was like 13 years old with my cousin in their like living room, with like football pictures when they're like kids, like 13 years old.
Yeah.
There's Ryan Nall when he was 13, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and he played for OSU. Like, you love OSU football, bro. I knew you would know him too.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he's their main running back.
Yeah. And that's what it should be, I think, because he in his preseason when he was playing for him before he got cut and onto the training team, he was their most efficient runner. And he was a guy that could get you 60, 70 yards, give him 15 carries with his body. And actually...
And that's college football, though. Like, he can definitely truck some dudes.
Yeah. Well, that was NFL, too. NFL.
Obviously, if you're OSU starting running back, bro, you can obviously hold your own. No question.
The funny thing about Ryan Nall is he came in OSU actually as a tight end and a fullback. They kind of used him as that. And then they didn't have they didn't really have a running back, and so he went and he started playing running back and he started doing successful, and then the next season he dropped like 10 or 15 pounds and leaned up a little bit more to help his speed, and he still had the power, he still had the strength in the body, but he became more of a running back, and that is where everything started to click for him.
Yeah, man. I knew you would recognize him, though, because I was like, I know my boy Kern. He's all about OSU football, and that is my cousin's literal, best friend growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never met him myself, but, I've been told they're homies, but, yeah, dude, just small world.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was the right move by Chicago because they had Jordan Howard, and he was doing really well, and then he got traded to Philadelphia. So they brought in...
He's going to get playing time in Chicago?
He was their starter in Chicago, but then you had Tariq Cohen, and so you started thinking, okay, well, maybe he could be the guy. But you get rid of Howard.
Ryan Nall was starting, bro?
Huh?
Ryan Nall was starting running back?
I think he's in... I think they're more of a run by committee between Cohen, Nall now, because now you have Cohen, who's the speedster. He's kind of the guy that you can do the wildcat and some trick stuff with. Nall's going to be your power back, so he's going to be that third down guy, like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, try to get that first down. He's got that body and he can use that.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. We'll see. He's on the active roster. I don't know, how they're going to fit him in. He could be just garbage.
Oh, they're going to use him. They're definitely going to use him because since they released Mike Davis, who was kind of their guy that they're hoping to step up and be that 1-2 punch with Cohen. They released him, so that opened up the spot for Nall, and I think that's a better matchup, especially because he's younger. He's a guy that can be a power back more so, and he's proven in an NFL game that he could, because he busted like a 60-yard touchdown. It's preseason, so the defense probably a little bit softer.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah, this was a preseason, but he definitely broke out a gainer. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I think it's a good fit. And with that Chicago team, with Trubisky, kind of now they're thinking, is he our guy? Because if they start losing some more games, they might be looking for a quarterback in the draft.
I don't know. All I know is my cousin just recently put on his Instagram, Ryan Nall moved to active roster.
Yeah, it happened yesterday.
So
yeah,
they are probably going to see what they can do with him and see where he fits in, bro.
Well, and this is the part of the season. And Chicago started out strong. You had a good defense. The offense is just having a hard time clicking, and so now you're at the point like, hey, let's try to.
If you're in Portland, I could probably get you a meet and greet with Ryan Nall, the Bears running back. But I don't think he's ever in Portland. I think he's always in Chicago, bro.
I would imagine so, especially now being on the
Chicago
active.
Bears paycheck, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's a big deal, and I think that's a good move. He's definitely got that because now the NFL is pushing more towards that kind of bruiser running back. You look at like Saquon Barkley. That now
definitely it's almost preferred. Like they obviously want. Zeke is, I hate to say it, man, Zeke is still the man to me. He can bruise people up as well as just put them on their heels, dude. And, yeah.
Well,
Zeke is so talented, man. It's hard to compare anybody to him. Actually, Saquon is more talented. I'll say, but he's young, but, Saquon is obviously a much better running back, in my opinion, than Zeke. But, I just think it's somebody who, like, I don't think Saquon can really, I don't think his footwork is really, up to speed as Zeke.
I am gonna actually say I think it's the opposite on that.
You think so?
I think Saquon.
I think Saquon's more of a just bruiser and just like, man, like I can cut hard and just run hard and I'm gonna be tough to bring down type of running back. Zeke is very similar, but I've seen Zeke put guys on his heels, man, and just like spin move and create space. And
I would say that it's the opposite. I would say Saquon's more of the guy that's because Saquon, what makes him special is his footwork, because he can make guys miss in a 2-foot radius with a juke or a spin move. Zeke's going to be the guy that's going to lower his. Zeke's going to be the guy that's going to lower his head and try to power through, and that's what he's shown in games.
He does that. Yeah, he does that very often. I just think that Saquon is going to be the running back that's half a step quicker and just a little bit stronger and just a little bit faster. Yeah, do you get what I mean? Like half a step quicker and just a little bit stronger than you. Like,
well,
I will always be a running back,
Yeah.
And Zeke is more of a he knows the system, he knows his O line. He knows how to maneuver around his O-line to where he's getting a 10-yard gainer to a 30-yard gainer. And that could just be the whole scheme of the Cowboys, too. You know them. They're just fucking, it's all rigged. Everybody wants America's team to do well and have a winning season in that bullshit. But
well, and what also makes the difference, I think, between Barkley and with Elliott is Saquon Barkley is a tremendous pass catcher and a receiver out of the backfield.
He is very, Nobody gives him credit for it, but
yeah. Well, I would put him and Christian McCaffrey as the top 2 running backs catching out of the backfield, and Elliott struggles. That's the one area he's more of just hand me the ball and let me go to work, kind of like Adrian Peterson. I don't really care so much about catching. If I have to, I can, but just give me the ball, let me work. Saquon's a guy that can line up and be a receiver, just like Christian McCaffrey, and he can run those short routes and get open and make people miss.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's not an amazing route runner, but he's good. He's a pretty good route runner.
For a running back, he's one of the best. If he has to go to receiver, he can.
Christian McCaffrey is pretty damn good.
Well, no, McCaffrey's number 1 in that area for me, and I think he's very overlooked. I think he should be in the contention of that MVP.
McCaffrey is the Panthers' offense. Let's face it, these days. It's pretty much McCaffrey and 20% just randomness.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Well, with McCaffrey, he's averaging, 90 yards on the ground and almost 70, 80 yards receiving each game because he has to. You could see that in Stanford. But the thing also is his dad, Ed McCaffrey, was a receiver in the NFL, was a great receiver, and his brother was a running back or was a receiver as well, but not quite as big or known. But Christian also played receiver and running back at Stanford, so he's got that receiver mentality. But he's also a great running back, so that makes him special in that way. And also, he bulked up. I mean, if you saw the difference between him as a rookie and him now, I mean, it's ridiculous how cut he has gotten and got that NFL body, especially being one of the shorter guys.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed too. Yeah, he is definitely a just. It's almost Marshawn Lynch-like, but Marshawn had much better flow and create. I mean,
well, he was bigger
break
too.
Tackles in ways that shouldn't have been broken tackles. I mean, let's face it, Marshawn was just something special. But he is almost Marshawn-ish or Marshawn-esque. You know, like he will, just plow through a group of, defenders and get 3 yards or. Yeah, I mean, like he is so hard to wrap up. It seems like, and when I watch him in football games, it's just, he's like a force to be reckoned with. He's just very difficult to bring down.
Yeah, so I think that that's gonna do it here for us. Here, again, it was always great having Calvin Baty, our sport enthusiast, join us here tonight for podcast number 2. We got the Sunday football game going on. It's getting near the end, so I'm excited.
Man, are you watching it?
I've got kind of that clip. I'm on ESPN right now.
Cowboys and Vikings. I mean, back and forth and back and forth. It might be tie game or 6-point. Nope. Minnesota's up 28-21, man. It's been interesting. It is back and forth, man. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
Pretty good. But
well,
it's always good talking to you, bro.
Yeah, it was great.
Look forward to the Blazer game.
Yep.
In January.
Yep.
Right.
Gonna be fun
or
times.
No, February.
January 11th.
January 11th.
Yep.
All right, got it, my man. And when you're down here, I mean, how long are you gonna be here for? A few days? Days?
Probably just that, because I'm gonna be coming off of. I've got to call a game the night before. And then
I know you're a
morning,
busy guy, and you're super famous with Vern Entertainment and all that. So,
Well, I wouldn't say famous, but we are building something. We're in the midst of building something, I would say. But
for sure, man. For sure.
No,
it was great talking to you, man.
It was great talking.
I'm all about Vern Entertainment, the podcast.
Yeah.
Am I your second now, or am I?
You are number 2. You are number 2 on the Vern Entertainment podcast.
Number 2?
Yep, we're still searching for a name, some kind of an official name for it.
I'm Kevin Durant, bro.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But
I would say Nelly, number 1, but I'm not. So I gotta be something.
Yeah. Well,
oh my Lord, man, you have to watch this game.
Yeah. Well, I will probably put that one on.
Dak Prescott's doing some amazing things right now, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, the good thing is this is a big one for my fantasy, so I got to check, make sure. I've got some Minnesota players.
Watch it, man. Dak Prescott just literally scrambled for his life and just threw an amazing pass to Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Little lobber right to Amari. But, yeah, man, I would watch it. It is a very interesting little showdown. Yeah, it's going to be very. I mean, it'll probably come down to the last 5 minutes of the game. I'd guarantee it. It's worth it.
Perfect. Well, Calvin, I'll let you get. I will let you go, and finish the rest of the game. But it's always great catching up. We will see you January 11th. We're excited. I'm excited for that game. Again, Bucks Blazers. We'll see what they do by then. Again, the season's early, but I'm interested to see what they want to go. But I wouldn't pull the trigger yet. See what the team you've got. See who steps up. But, if it gets to the crunch time and you've got to make that trade, it'll be interesting to see what they do, especially before that deadline.
It would be, man. I'll tell you what. I don't think the Blazers are real big on making big moves, dude.
And I don't think they will. I think they will stay kind of
wait. Yeah. I mean, I really don't. I don't know. I can't remember the last significant trade. When I really, really think about it, I don't know. I can't think about it. So.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, man, I'm all about the Blazer game coming up. I mean, it's going to be a treat, dude. We get to see Giannis.
Yeah.
Man, I really think the Blazers are playoff bound, but, man, it will not be easy once again. And, But, hey, we're used to bumpy roads, man. We are used to the rocky road. We can obviously,
Well, again, we're
chugging up the hill, man.
9 games in the season. There's no need to pull out the white flag or try to unload and get somebody. I think you stick with what you've got. Yeah, the injuries will hurt, but the good thing is you do have a really solid bench that players can move up and make a name. So I think you still have a lot of talent there, and we'll see what they do. But I don't think you try to get somebody now. See what you've got. And if Kevin Love, maybe he starts struggling there in Cleveland, just doesn't want to be there anymore, that'll make it easier to trade for him. So I think you just kind of hold tight and see what happens.
In all honesty, let's say we don't make the playoffs, but we do get Kevin Love, and we're able to keep him in Portland for a couple of years, I would be just fine with that because, that opens up a lot of doors. If we're keeping Kevin Love, Nurk, and Dame and McCollum, that is just, I'm not saying Kevin Love is the Kevin Love of the Timberwolves, where he's VP candidate or, all-star team and all that jazz. But, he's Kevin Love. He is definitely a great scorer, not a bad defender, a really good rebounder.
Yeah.
He used to be, but
not
a bad defender.
And the big thing about that is he is so good at opening the paint.
Let's face it, he's played with the best players in the world, or the best player, the best NBA player, and debatably in the world. He's a veteran. He knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
And so it just be.
I will hold my next topic about Kevin Love, what he does, because I know if I start talking, I'll probably rant for another 20 minutes on what he can do for the Blazers. But we'll save that for another time.
We're both aware, man. I am all for it too. Yeah, he'd be a great role player. I'd compare him to almost Pau Gasol for the Lakers, man.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree? Like Kobe and Pau.
I would even say he'd be more like, I would say, Chris Bosh for the Heat, and what he can do perimeter wise and open up the court.
Yeah.
In a way that he can rebound if he has to, but he can also draw the defense out, open up that lane, because then you can open it up for Nurk, or Lillard can drive in, and knowing that you've got Kevin Love to kick it out to.
It's not a great 3-ball. It's not. I remember Bosh didn't even have that good of a 3-ball at Miami because he was not shooting all the time.
Well, he was a mid-range guy. He wasn't the 3 guy, but he was a good mid-range shooter. But he also opened up the lanes.
I feel like he did when he was playing for Detroit Raptors. Or, not the Detroit Raptors. Toronto Raptors, bro.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Yeah. There's somewhat of a 3-ball.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll do it for us here tonight. Calvin, we'll let you go, finish the game. But it was great having you here on podcast number 2 for Vern Entertainment.
It is a great game right now, man. It's 21-28, fourth quarter, 10 minutes, 7 seconds to go, man. You got to tune in.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here. Podcast number 2, Vern Entertainment. We're still kind of figuring out a name. So, again, we will have this up and ready tonight after we're just getting
I might think of a name, actually, for you, if that's okay.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead. What's your pitch?
For the Vern Entertainment podcast?
Well, that's kind of what it is right now. We don't really have a, distinct name for it. We're developing that. Because again, it's somewhat open, but also, we could just shorten it up and go VE, the V. Well, I don't really like how it sounded, the VE podcast. That doesn't sound.
Vern's Vids, Vern's Vids, bro.
Welcome to Vern's Corner.
Vern's Corner. I like that. I like Vern's Corner. Vern's Vids, bro.
Yeah.
That sounds like a porn site, though. Vern'sVids.com.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I read on Vern's Vids yesterday. Oh, yeah, bro, it was radical. I don't know. It's like E-Bombs World or something.
Oh, that's another site. I mean, I've
Vern's videos.
Yeah, I haven't heard of E-Bombs World for a long time. I mean, that was high school, middle school stuff. It's been a while.
Some twisted, sick stuff.
Well,
on
they had some really fun computer games on that site.
Oh, a great way to spend 2 to 3 hours every day.
Oh yeah, it could get you in trouble. It could get you in trouble if people saw what you're playing. But
yeah, I mean that's what you always do at the library or something, you know.
Yeah, it depends. You know. But yeah, Calvin, we'll let you go here. Enjoy the game. We will see you in January.
Yeah,
and that is podcast number 2. We'll be back with another one next Sunday night. So everybody have a great one. And this has been Vern Entertainment podcast number 2.